So I'm back with Skipper Meaghan. We were talking about mechanical issues in the last episode, and we started talking about the guests. And we've got guest stories, and you've heard some of mine, but I know she's got a bunch as well. Because the Jungle Cruise, you get a whole different type of feeling with the people. So. The grumpy guest is kind of where we left off. When you've got this whole group, you're trying to entertain them, and you look back and they're all going,
Yeah, that Donald Duck face, it'll get you, especially when you're trying to be funny. Like, I'm trying really hard here, guys. And I know puns aren't for everyone, but come on, have a little fun.
have fun. Yeah. So you got the grumpy guest, but I imagine you got some rather entertaining and amusing questions and comments.
Oh yeah, a lot of it came from kids. Kid interactions were my favorite. I don't think that I'm particularly good with kids. I don't have any like really small ones in my family, so I don't interact with them all that much. But sometimes kids would spring something on you, and you're like, I, I don't know how to answer that. Um, one little princess, she decided that she needed to let me know what I had done wrong on my cruise. She'd been on it 1.5 million times. She was probably 5, I'm gonna say. She was a very precocious little thing. We get back to the dock, and I'm like, all right guys, thanks, stand up, exit, the whole shebang. And I hang up the mic, and she like taps me on the leg, and I was like, hey, yeah, what's up? And she goes, I just wanted to let you know a couple of things. First, this is my very favorite ride. I've been on it so many times, and you did pretty good. But I just want to let you know that you forgot a couple of things. And I was like, do tell. I'm listening. And she said, you forgot to mention the butterflies at the very beginning, and you forgot to let somebody drive your boat. You should do that next time. So I got it.
She wanted to drive the boat and didn't get her chance.
I felt really bad. I was like, oh my gosh, y'all want to go again? No, okay. I'll be here. I'll be around and around.
5-year-old, here, kid, just there's the mic. You go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I have no doubt that she could have done it. And there was a lot of guests that, not necessarily kids, but a lot of people came on, and you could tell, like, y'all could do my job better than me. Just take it. Just come on.
Yep.
I know that y'all have been on this probably as many times as I have. Another little one, she was a little older. She was probably 8 or 9, old enough to be a little sassy. And I was pointing out my favorite plants, the hibiscus, low hibiscus, doggy biscuits, all of that. And I said, does anyone have any questions? And she says, what are their Latin names? I'm like, okay, little botanist. I was completely thrown off, and I didn't know what to say. So I just said the only thing that came to mind, which was, oh, I don't speak Latin. I took Spanish in high school. And her mom was dying. I was like, I wasn't even trying to be funny. I was not.
No,
but the mom was like, see, you ask stupid questions, you get stupid answers.
That's actually a great response.
I was like, oh, goodness.
See, I'm thinking, okay, Latin, hibiscus canis, hibiscus lois.
There you go.
I don't know.
I wouldn't have been able to come up with anything that sounded remotely Latin. It's like, oh gosh, come on. I had friends who took Latin. They'd be so ashamed.
I think that's an awesome answer. I took Spanish.
I took Spanish. I was like, now just no one ask me to speak Spanish, because that's not going to go great.
Yep. Oh, that's priceless. Yeah, the kids were always the fun ones, because they would come up with the most unexpected stuff.
Yeah.
And so, I kind of had a standard little set of dumb jokes when kids were walking by as PhotoPass. Because they're all, you see the guys wearing the Gap shirt, hey, buddy, there's a gap on your shirt. Huh? Or your sandals untied, just goofy stuff, and amazing how many people would fall for it.
Oh yeah. The dad jokes my dad still will come up to me and go, like he's brushing something off my shirt. So I do like this, and then he, bumps my nose. I'm like, I'm 30 and I'm still falling for this.
Yeah. My mother has a whole deal where she'll come up behind me if I'm not paying attention, and it's just a little pressure on the shoulder, and just, what? And then usually follow it up with a whap in the nose.
As you do. I mean, it's a parent thing.
Out in the park, though, we would get the crazy questions, the big joke is, what time is the 3 o'clock parade? All the
all
time.
the time. It
Um,
happens.
and But there were always these other questions. So Jungle Cruise, I imagine, because you would rotate positions, you'd be on the dock, and then you'd have
Mhm.
somebody up at the front too,
Yep.
normally, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
which would be where you get all the goofy questions.
Oh, you got some questions there. A lot of people wanted to ask the questions on the boat though. Like I'm like, this is literally the only position where I can't just stop and chat with you. You can ask anyone else. Um, but yeah, people would come up and ask where things were a lot. How to get to Pirates of the Caribbean was a big one. Where the Enchanted Tiki Room was. One person I've mentioned before, she asked if this is the Enchanted Tiki Room, and I was like, no, I'm standing under a sign that's like 8 feet across that says Jungle Cruise. But again, that's a Disney brain thing where it's like, that they just want to know. They're like, am I close? Am I in the vicinity? Please just send me to an indoor bird show, please. I need air conditioning. Um, so that was most of the questions that you would get, was how to get to things. We did have people who thought that for some reason every cast member on property was just connected with a little like Secret Service earpiece and we could check on anything. They'd be like, can you tell us the wait times at Splash Mountain? Can you tell us what buses are like, when, what bus can I get back? Like they would ask questions like that.
Which
And some
character is at what
things we had.
location
Yeah.
today? Yeah.
And we did have the telecast. Do you remember the
Mhm.
telecast little
Oh yeah.
booklet thing? We whipped that out.
Okay. So I gotta ask, did you ever keep your telecasts?
I got a stack of them somewhere. I don't know where they are, but I got a stack of them.
I know where mine are. They're in the file cabinet. I have a folder about that thick full of telecasts.
I don't know what I thought I was gonna need these for, but I'm like, I can't throw it away. It's a memory.
Those things were lifesavers, but they're all dated. They've got the whole schedule and
Oh
everything
yeah.
on them. So
Yeah. So
it's
sometimes when people
entertaining.
would say, like, what time is this show? I could be like, let me check for today. Wishes is at, they're
Yeah.
having two of them today. But when they want to know, oh, what's is Splash Mountain down? Is Space Mountain down? Where's where's the Harry Potter castle? That was my friend. We need to
I-
pray because
that's another one that people say people didn't seriously ask that.
oh yeah.
Yes, they did.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Because I mean, Universal, Disney, it's all the same thing. It's just
Yeah.
you're going to
Where's the bus
Orlando.
to Universal? Where's the bus to SeaWorld? There
Like
isn't one.
he could
And
get an Uber. Was Uber a
we didn't
thing?
have Uber at
I
that
don't think
time.
we had that. Yeah.
Mm-mm. So yeah, no Uber. Good luck, rental car.
Yeah. Mirrors. Oh, good old
Taxi.
mirrors.
I was there 2006 to 11. I would have people ask me where Star Wars was at Magic Kingdom back then.
I bet it's even worse now.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Uh,
Uh,
yeah, just goofy stuff, and you're kind of going, you didn't think about that too much, did you?
my favorite question was, I would get it probably once a week. It'd be a dad. It was always a dad. And he'd come up to me outside of the greeter position. He'd go, where can someone get a beer in this park? At the time, like we didn't even have VR guests. Like there was no alcohol in
Yeah,
Magic Kingdom. It was the only dry park. And I was like, sorry, we can't, not here. And he was like, really? Nowhere? And I was like, no.
contemporary. Walked out to the
Okay.
hotel.
But it was just so dejected. It was like 3:30 in the afternoon inevitably. And he's like, please, where can I find a beer? Not here.
Yeah, I did have a couple times. I did direct people because you could just see, and I mean, I'm not a drinker, but I get it. I was like, yeah, out the gate to the left. It's not too bad a walk. Get to the Contemporary
Yeah,
Hotel. That's,
that was a good call. I should have thought of that. It's like
but you were in the middle of the
save
jungle.
people.
You didn't. I was
Yeah,
Main Street and stuff. So,
yeah. I could direct them to Pirates. I could direct them to the Swiss Family Treehouse. That was pretty much what I could do
so did you ever have anybody accuse you of not knowing what you were doing?
all the time. All the time. I would get, oh, women can drive the boats now. I would get, you're spinning that wheel way too much. I personally have boats, and I know that this is not a real boat because of how you're spinning that wheel. Um,
Oh, it's a real
at
boat. I
the
just don't steer it.
yeah, it's like because you just stand there and we would just spin the
Yeah.
wheel just rapidly behind our backs. The bruises on my hands and hips from that wheel, ridiculous. My favorite was the dad that was like sitting right in the middle, just staring me down. And he's like, "See, honey, this is how not to steer your boat when you get older because you're going to crash your boat if you steer like this. See, don't do what she's doing." And I'm like, "Sir, why? Just
Sir,
why?
imagination.
It's
Little bit of
magic."
pixie dust.
Oh, it's like, man, as if I don't feel silly enough wearing the khaki potato sack. Now you're making fun of how I drive my boat.
Oh,
Dang.
I still remember, like, so I would have people accuse me of lying when I would tell them how to get someplace.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I don't know if you ever heard this story. It was Haunted Mansion or Big Thunder. I think it was Haunted Mansion. But I was over at the hub and had this guy come up very aggravated. How do you get to this? It's right over there across the Liberty Square Bridge. No,
Uh-huh.
it's not. It's right. No, it's not. I just came from over there the whole several minutes. Why are you telling me how to? Finally, okay, fine. Go through the Tomorrowland Bridge, make a left, and steered him all the way around the park, and then he was happy.
Did you just want to get an extra 3,000 steps? Like what?
I, I
Oh
would get
man.
that
No,
occasionally.
I don't think I ever had anyone tell me that. They just made fun of my boat driving skills.
Mhm.
But there was never anyone who, "No, that's not how you get to there.
Yeah,
I'm sorry."
yeah. So I had 3 or 4 occasions like that because I had that one where okay, I'll steer you all the way around the park, and oh, they're
Yeah.
quite happy. Um, I had the guests that argued with me out in front of the park, taking pictures of people in front of the Mickey Planner, and this guest with his family comes in. Look at the castle! Look at the castle! That's the
That's
train
the train
station.
station.
Sir, that's not the castle. It never forget the he gave me this death glare like I was the absolute idiot. Don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Look at the castle, kids.
I
And
mean, if he was impressed by the train station, boy
I
howdy, he was gonna have a time.
I so wish I could have seen the expression on his face when they came out of the tunnel and saw the castle.
I know. Oh
Like
man. See,
um
I just can't believe that people would be so nasty to you as a PhotoPass photographer. Like, y'all are so happy and bubbly, and like your entire job is just to help and take a photo. What is controversial? Could you possibly do that made
oh,
people be mean?
we had well now when I started, it was shortly after we had taken over from Kodak. And
Okay.
Kodak was famous for the "Don't you want your picture? Don't you want your picture? Get your picture."
Yeah.
And so we didn't do that. We were very nope. We're laid back. We're here to help.
Yeah.
Um, but people were so used to the wall of photographers that we would say, "Hey, good morning." No, thank you.
Nope.
You don't want a good morning? I'm going to give you one anyway.
Oh man, PhotoPass photographers are some of my favorite people in the entire park. Some of my very favorite cast members because it didn't matter what kind of camera I had at the time. If I was like, "Can you take my?" They're like, "Yeah, hand it here." They would always take a picture with mine too, so you don't even have to buy Memory Maker or whatever. Like, the PhotoPass photographer is still going to take just as good a picture. Like, they're not going to. I assume you didn't ever
Yep.
like mess with settings and stuff on people's
If their
cameras.
cameras were set wrong, I would sometimes.
Oh, did you? Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
you
Hey,
angel.
okay, you can't get this picture. Let me show you how to adjust this so you can. Night shots in particular was when they couldn't get it because they would get the picture with just them and you couldn't see anything behind them, or they get the castle and you couldn't see them. Like, okay, let me show you how to do this, and I take it for them.
See, you are the magic. People like you.
It's like, well, you'd have people say, well, I imagine if I give you my camera, you're going to take a lousy picture, so that way you have to take it with yours. I'm like, no, I'm going to take a good picture with yours so you can see why you want me to take it with mine.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
So many times I was like, I don't need to buy the pictures because I have them on my camera. But then I would see like, okay, this one's good. That one where they have everything perfect and set up, even better. So I mean, I still did buy, and I do buy Memory Maker and stuff now.
yep,
So I definitely think it's worth it.
yeah, and then the
I
magic
will always
shots.
tell people to do it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I had fun, but yeah,
I
no,
always tell
we
people
would still
to do
get
that.
goofy stuff. Yeah, you didn't have the characters so much, so you didn't hear people called Donald Daffy. Uh, but
We're
Um,
gonna say that's a slip of the tongue, and people aren't confusing those two magnificent ducks, but they are, I'm sure.
but I imagine you probably heard some other. So you mentioned that they thought you were the tiki room.
Oh yeah.
Did they ever
What
ask
else?
about the animatronics?
Oh yeah. Usually kids, they would go, "Are those animals real?" And what we would say is, "Well, you can see them, can't you?" And they'd say, "Well, yeah." I'm like, "So they're not imaginary, they have to be real, right?" And they're like, "Yeah." And then usually that was, "Mommy, it's a real tiger." And I was like, I love my job. That was I loved that. Um, the adults, I had people correct me on like identifying the animals sometimes. I had a lady vehemently, she was adamant that it was not a python that we were passing. That was an anaconda. And I'm like, no, it's a python. It's a python. It's supposed to be a python. I'm not a herpetologist. I don't
Yeah,
know, but like it's supposed to be a python. And she's like,
they,
no, the reason you can tell is, and I was like, okay, that's cool. Sit down.
they you smile, you nod
Like,
inside, you're
oh,
thinking, shut up.
because sometimes they would just like, no, I need you to know that you're wrong. And I'm like, I'm wrong. Can you please sit so we can move on? Because they always would stand. I don't know why people, when they need you to hear them, they think that you hear them better if they're standing. So they would stand up, and I'm like, shut the boat off. Sit, sit, please sit. Sounds like I'm
Ever
talking to my
get
dog.
tempted to rock
Please
the
sit.
boat just a little bit? So
No, because I was like, the one time that I do this, someone's gonna go out, and then I don't want anyone in that water. I truly did not want anyone in that water. Please don't touch that water. Just PSA. Do not touch the jungle water. It's not clean. And the couple, the older couple that corrected me on Ginger and Smiley, the crocodiles, I was like, I'm facing the boat, and I was like, the crocodiles over here, the one on the left is old Smiley, and these two older people were like, your other left, because to them it was to the right, and I was like, I mean, I know that's to the right of the boat. I get that. And I was like, but no, the leftmost crocodile is the one to whom I'm referring. And they really didn't like that. They were like, it's like, what? You threw it at me. Can I not dish it back? Like, you're at the
yeah,
Jungle Cruise, friends. This is what we do.
the rumor is at night that the skippers get a little more free with some of the jokes.
Oh, yeah. Jungle Cruise after dark. Hit it up. That's where it's at. I always go to jungle at night. If I'm going personally to sit and be on the boat, that's when I'm going. Because those skippers are tired. They've done it all day. They're ready to just party. B, there's a lot. Did I say one or B? A, B, one, two, whatever. Um, the skippers are more likely to do a fun cruise for you at night because it's less crowded. So if you're there, especially during the fireworks or something where there's hardly anyone else riding the jungle cruise because people think, oh, it's dark, I'm not going to be able to see anything, there's no point, blah, 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 then the skippers are going to give you a heck of a time because they can do the off script jokes, we'll say. There's some people who do a little bit more than the average. Or they can do like keys to the kingdom kind of stuff, which is what I always did if I had a boat of people who were older and who also were like, yeah, we've been on before, we know the jokes. So I would give them like fun facts about the ride and little behind the scenes trivia kind of stuff, and we would break the magic wall a little bit for those cruises. So older people go at night, and you'll get usually a better cruise, to me, in my opinion.
Yeah, the Keys of the Kingdom was that was a fun one because I did that the one time with my daughter,
Oh,
and so you get in before everybody else. First cruise of the day,
yeah,
basically.
yeah. Usually they would come and be like, "We got a keys tour," and we were like, "All right, well, we just warmed the boat up. Come on."
Yeah, and that was neat. That definitely looked like they were having our skipper split time with the tour guide
Oh, really?
for us. So
Okay.
we did a little bit of the jungle cruise, and then they'd slow the boat down, and the tour guide would mention a few things, since they kind of bounce
Yeah.
back and forth. Uh,
I only
but
had a
I
few keys tours that I was the skipper for, because most of the time I was working late at night. I wasn't
mhm.
usually opening shifts, so I didn't really get to do the Keys of the Kingdom tours all that much. But they were always fun to, because I mean, you just kind of stood there and just steer your boat, and And they just talk, and I was like, oh, well, I don't have to do my cruise right now.
Yeah. If it makes you feel better.
Dog treats. The kitten has come. The dog is
Yeah.
here. It's a party. I was like, the rest of the house is open. No, they all
Yeah.
want to be right here.
I think my dog finally went back upstairs. My daughter's dog follows me around.
It's your dog now.
Yeah.
All dogs are your dogs. All pets.
So, any standout guess? Good, bad?
Bad, ugly. One that stands out, and I know I've told this story on my channel, so this might be repeat. But the lady I mentioned that we didn't have alcohol in the park at the time. But I was working at Wheelchair Assist, which is there just to assist the wheelchairs, as the name would suggest. And there was a group that was waiting for the rope boat to come back around so that they could get on. Well, they're standing there, and it was a couple of, a family of three, lady in the ECV, her daughter, and then another older lady who was standing behind them. I assumed mom, aunt, somebody. So I'm standing there and I'm talking to the little girl, what's your favorite ride? What all of y'all done? Just hanging out. And then the mom in the ECV catches my eye and she's like, and I was like, what? So this lady is straight up just like leaned on the back of this woman's ECV and she's like, I don't know who this is. Can you get her off with me? And I was like, oh, okay. And I am 5 feet tall. At the time, I was about 110 pounds. Like, I'm not trying to get in a fight with anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So I found one of my guy friends who was right there on the dock, and I was like, Michael, come here. So he came over and he was like, hey, ma'am, can I help you? Because the smell of alcohol
Oh.
was just wafting off of her. And
So
we were
she's
like,
probably leaning on it so she didn't fall over.
yeah, she was lean because she was having trouble standing up and we didn't realize what was going on. But I was like, oh, where did she get that much alcohol? It's like, it's not in here. Like, she has not been drinking in here. I don't know where it's come from. So he's like, hey, can I get you to, and then she sees him coming and like sees that he's trying to talk to her to presumably do something. And I guess because she was intoxicated, she thought, oh no, I'm in trouble. She takes off and runs. But she's running through the queue, which is got ropes and everything. So she's trying to zigzag and then she gives up on that and she starts trying to like just hike her leg up and go over the ropes. She's tripping, she's stumbling. He's like, can you stop? Don't get hurt. Please just stand still. And this entire time she's clutching a plastic shopping bag, like a Walmart bag, to her chest. And we're like, what is in this bag? I'm like, this is just getting stranger and stranger by the minute. What is going on? She's obviously intoxicated. She's leaning all over people. She's got some kind of contraband in her bag, and she's running away from us like we're, chasing her from bad boys. What is happening? So he finally gets her, and he calls security to come and, escort her, not out, but like they were taking her, I believe, to like the first aid center to like make sure that she's okay and get her, call someone for her. And he's like, do you want to know what was in the bag? And I said, worse than anything. He said, plastic Easter eggs. Just plastic Easter eggs. Just a bag full of them. Like she was out there ready to, I don't know if she was bringing them into the park to hide, to be funny. You know how people like paint rocks and hide them around places?
Yeah.
I have no idea what the plastic Easter eggs were for. I have no idea. It has been 11 years. I must know. I am still so confused by that entire interaction.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they had Jello shots, but they would melt. I don't know.
Yeah, people have suggested, they're like, maybe she had the alcohol in the eggs. And I was like, she had to go through security with that. Like, what did the security people at the bag check? Were they like, seems all right? Just plastic Easter eggs. Go ahead. I don't know. I'm wondering if she was maybe a cast member and she came in, like on an off day, she came in through the back. I don't know.
I'm trying to imagine bringing Easter eggs to the cast security checkpoint because they're even stricter there. What do you need that for?
I have no idea, but that one stands out as quite a strange interaction.
Maybe somebody will comment and tell us what the Easter eggs are for, because
maybe that's a thing that I just am not privy to. I just don't know what that's for.
I have no idea. I'd love to know. Yeah, I'm going to be asking everybody now. What do you take Easter eggs into a park for?
What would you need plastic Easter eggs in Magic Kingdom?
Weird.
Very.
So on that note, yeah, we'll just kind of, what are Easter eggs for at Magic Kingdom? Let us know. But yeah, let Megan know on her channel, on her
Yeah.
Instagram. Yeah, that's gonna leave me stumped for a while. But thank you so much.
Thanks.
Yeah, fun stuff. You never know what you're gonna get with people.
You never know what's gonna happen in the jungle.
Yep. So, but be sure to check out Skipper Meaghan's channel. There'll be a link in the description. Thank you so much. This is always fun when
Thanks
we
so
get
much.
together.
It's always a good time.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know your thoughts, your comments, your suggestions, your ideas. Be sure to share them in the comments below, or you can contact me. There's information in the description that has my email address, fan pages, information about merchandise, and so much more. So be sure to check that out. Don't forget to hit that like button, share the video, and if you haven't already, hit the button right up there to subscribe. And in fact, if you did enjoy this, I've even got another video for you right here. And also about these wonderful people here, those are my YouTube members and my patrons, the ones whose financial support makes this possible. I couldn't do it without them. If you want to know more about that and the perks that come with it, well, be sure to check the description. There's a link right down there. Thank you so incredibly much. God bless.